In this video, I'm going to walk you through Assignment 2, Exploring Your Interest in Psychology for PSY 120, Careers in Psychology, Neuroscience, and Human Development. Some of the activities that are recommended to you in your Kuther and Morgan text for thinking about your interests in psychology involve just broadly thinking about what attracts you to psychology or neuroscience or human development or all three. And then also thinking through your specific interests in the various diverse areas within psychology. In designing this assignment, what I wanted to do was kind of front load that areas of interest piece of things, building a tool using checklists that are supplied with each of the content area chapters in your text. I want to start though by giving you the broad objectives of this assignment and how they connect to the broad goals of PSY 120. In 120, we want you to get a good understanding of the breadth of the field of psychology. So you're going to explore your interest in those various areas. I want you to think about career options and degree requirements. And you'll be doing that a great deal as we move through the whole course, but this will sort of jumpstart that process by getting you really thinking about the obvious differences between different areas, and then thinking about your own goals and interests. So the first part of this assignment is for you to explore your own attitudes about psychology, and then we can add into that the sub areas of neuroscience and human development, and then explore in more detail the subject areas of interest across the field more specifically. So I'm going to have you do two instruments. First is a very simple task where you are completing a simple questionnaire asking you to think about why you like psychology. So on this I like psychology because instrument, I want you to complete the sentence, I like psychology because 10 times. So try and come up with at least 10 reasons why you are drawn to the field of psychology. And then I want you to complete what I'm calling an areas of interest inventory or survey. Basically what I did, apparently I need to move this toolbar out of the way. In your chapters, and you'll see this in your reading this week, I believe it's at the end of each of the content area chapters, there's a checklist of things that might be common to people who are interested in a particular area. So for example, in clinical counseling psychology, if you're a person who likes working with people, you want to help people with their problems, you make people comfortable, you're a good listener, those sorts of things. What I want you to do is, as the instructions say, read each of the statements on each list, place a check mark by each one that matches how you see yourself. Then in each section, so like under clinical counseling psychology, add up your number of checked items and divide that by the total number of items, which is 17 in this case, and that gives you an average. After you complete the entire inventory with all the different areas, you can kind of rank order your means so that you can see which areas you have the strongest interest in. After you complete the two instruments, the I Like Psychology instrument and the Areas of Interest survey, I want you to identify on that Areas of Interest survey the top two, so the top two highest means, and then also the bottom two. And after you do that, I want you to write a reflective essay where you're talking about what you learned about yourself through this process. So what should be included in the essay is a summary of what you discovered after completing the I Like Psychology exercise. Second, 2 or 3 paragraphs describing your responses on the areas of interest instrument, talking about your top 2 areas and your bottom 2 areas. I want you to think about how those areas are similar to one another and how they're different from one another. And then finally, a concluding paragraph concerning what this might tell you about the kind of work you see yourself doing later. And students often say, God, I can't think about 10 years from now. But I want you to make an effort at projecting out 10 years from graduation or 10 years from now and ask yourself, what kind of career do you imagine based on what you're interested in, based on your responses to these instruments? What do you see yourself doing with your time? Your essay, when you turn it in, it needs to be in Word. Remember, I don't accept PDF documents. D2L often doesn't like them, and I have to convert them to Word in order to provide you with feedback. So your essay must be in Word. 12-point font is preferable. Make sure that your margins are an appropriate 1 inch. After you completed your assignment, you upload it to the Dropbox. There is an assignment description also attached to the Dropbox, and you can also view the grading rubric in that space as well. So that concludes my description of assignment 2.